live, alive, ready to go, ready to kick it. Lots of news happening today. No Tenga review yet. All right. Trump stops. Pay freeze. Crowder deposition got released? No, I haven't seen it. Are we in Wano? No, we are not in Wano. We're in Tokyo, baby. Not everything is Wano. Deposition of testimony regarding the identification of an innocent man as a neo-Nazi. No way. What the hell? That's crazy. This man can't catch a break, huh? Just can't do it. Steven Crowder. You got a shooter who's tattooed up with a swastika and SS lightning bolts, but you're hesitant to call that neo-Nazi mass shooter. Call that a neo-Nazi mass shooter. Correct. I don't understand why he wouldn't call him a neo-Nazi mass shooter, because he is. That's weird. Why is he doing that? Why he doing that? Why he doing that? RFK confirmation. Trump stops grant freeze. ICE deportations increase. Steven Crowder deposition for neo-Nazi footage released. I am working at a maid cafe later, but I don't know how to speak Japanese. He's in willful denial because his brain is broken. That doesn't make sense. All right. Who's got a good blast off meme for me? Thoughts on ChatGPT government? Oh, God. Maid cafes today. That's right. Okay, good blast off meme. Let's go. Maybe we'll have one. Any plans to visit commie stuff in Japan? Yeah. Visit commie stuff. I'm literally interviewing the Japanese Communist Party inside of their headquarters, live streaming. That is like an insane, unprecedented level of access no one has ever been able to get before. I'll tell you when that's happening, okay? It's not happening yet. Don't worry about it. Anyway, the Macy's, you got a playlist? Or what? Did you cover the OPM being taken over by unappointed Heritage Foundation contributors? No, thank you. All right. The Laken Riley Act is being signed into law. We're obviously going to start there. We'll talk about the deposition. Here's the blast off meme. I got to burn through some of these news stories because there's a lot going on in the world that I must talk about. What the hell? And you guys obviously want me to talk about as well. Calendar DEI fired. Intelligence officials are starting to leak to me now. Here's a memo. Defense Intelligence Agency personnel received instructing them to suspend observances including Holocaust, Remembrance Day, MLK Day, and Juneteenth. Gitmo being reopened. Yeah. Did you hear about how God's going to hit us with an asteroid in 2032? I mean, honestly, God already hit us with Donald Trump. So that's like, I'm gonna keep it a stag with you. I feel like that is far worse, or at the very least will have the same exact impact as Donald Trump, or I mean as the asteroid, if you know what I'm saying. Feel me? Anyway, let's continue. Here it is. He started off here. What the fuck? That was crazy. Most lib thing you've ever said. Man, shut the fuck up. This is the president. This is the president who's currently signing an act into law that denies due process to people who are undocumented migrants. Okay? Like, it just rips away their due process and allows the federal government to immediately deport them. That is the most insane. That's the most insane thing. Democrats voted for it.
Thank you very much.
Look at this animal.
Please. Thank you very much. Before we begin, I want to provide a brief report on the unprecedented success our country has been witnessing in recent weeks. Since even before the election, we've been making extraordinary progress. The American people gave us a clear mandate to save our country, and we won all 7 swing states by large margins, historic. Very importantly, we won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. Also, all 50 states, as you know, shifted toward the Republican Party, and that's never happened before. All 50, every single one of them. In our first week in office, we set records, taking over 350 executive actions. That's not been done before. And it has reportedly been the single most effective opening week of any presidency in history. And we want to keep it that way. We want to keep it going. We want to keep it going. We've broken from decades of failed Washington policies and restored common sense and sanity to our government. We've unleashed American energy, and we've already achieved record low illegal immigration. As you see, there's nobody trying to get in. And that's what we've been waiting for a long time, and gotten woke ideologies out of our government and out of our military. The water has now begun flowing in California as we continue to increase the flow in coming days. Nobody's seen anything like that. And I've also taken strong action to regain control of the Washington bureaucracy. Just for clarification purposes, because it was incorrectly reported.
Is bro taking credit for water flow? Is he God? He said, I've been making the water flow in California. You know, that's called rain, man. What the hell? Like, is he saying like he made wait, is Trump saying the Jewish weather machine is real and he hit him up? He's like, I made it. I made the rain. I went to my people. I went to the Jews. I asked them, do the weather in California. A lot of you live there. What's going on? Why haven't you done the weather yet? Do you want your own homes to burn down? I told him, do it. I struck a deal. That's cool, though. I'm glad that he did the rain. He blessed the rains down in Africa.
Yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive, and it's fair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government, they're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last.
So this part's also crazy. It's not actually like an 8-month buyout. If they just can't go back to work, and if they've set their lives up in a way to do remote work, or if they're just like already worried about Donald Trump anyway, they can just take this. They can just say, all right, that's my 8 months. I'm putting in my 8 months. Like, you know how you put your 2 weeks in? Yeah, you're putting in your 8 months in. You don't actually like leave and then they just have to pay you for the next 8 months. You have to work for 8 months, but you can work remotely for 8 months and then you're done. I just don't like, does Trump know? Oh, I mean, he's a real estate guy. So I guess as a real estate guy, he knows a lot of, wait, what do you mean not true? No, I literally read, I read what the situation looks like for the buyouts. They're not like full blown buyouts. Like a normal buyout would be like, we're giving you 8 months pay if you fuck off and leave, right? You don't have to work those 8 months. Like normally, when companies want you to leave, they pay you like a decent amount of money to get you to leave. This is like it's not severance. This is I don't know what it's called. Yeah, so it's by definition not a buyout. Yeah, it's not, because you still have to work, chat. I thought it was a buyout. I thought the federal government was going to offer 8-month buyout. I was like, that's, I mean, decent, especially, I mean, that could be pretty solid depending on how many years you put in, right? But no, it just means you're saying, instead of, you know how when you leave, when you quit, you're technically putting in your 2 weeks, right? Like, I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice. This is an 8 months notice. That's it. Also, I don't believe for even a second Donald Trump is going to fulfill these obligations and pay any of these people. No budget was been approved to pay people out for 8 months. It's a lie. Oh, also, yeah, that's the other part. That's the other thing that I was going to say. No assurances whatsoever that will happen. That's the other thing. I think Donald Trump is just going to be like, yes, we'll pay you. Yeah, we'll pay you. Don't worry about it. We'll pay you. And then just not pay them and be like, this is what happens. You chose to You chose to not, you know, slave away at this government. So you must hate America. So you're getting nothing. You're getting nothing. He does notoriously hate paying. Like, I mean, that's the famous thing. Anyway.
Last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID. But they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful, as you understand. A lot of people are getting paychecks, but they're actually working other jobs, so they'll have to prove that to us that they weren't. In any event, we're requiring them to show up to work or be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient, and that's what we've been looking to do for many, many decades, frankly. Thank you. In addition, there was a short-term pause or funding freeze on certain discretionary spending payments, such as government grants, only for us to quickly look at the scams, dishonesty, waste, and abuse that's taken place in our government for too long. As was explicitly stated, this in no way affected Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, or other entitlements that Americans depend on.
Scams.
I've made abundantly clear from the very first day that I ran from office. That was a long time ago now. That's 2015. If you think about it,
there is nothing funnier than a famously scamming real estate developer who very famously did a fucking rug pull a day before he officially became the president. A cryptocurrency rug pull is talking about how the real scam is Medicaid and welfare. The art of the deal, baby. Not a buyout. No, I said it's not a buyout. Oh, it says rare cases determined by your agency, you're not expected to work. So that was wrong. You don't have to work. The fuck? Does democracy die in the darkness? Because I feel like I read this on, I read something on the Washington Post that said that you did have to work for 8 months initially. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything anymore. It's not, it might not have been Washington Post. It could have been Associated Press as well. I don't even know anymore. Dude, I don't know anything. What the hell's going on nowadays? What the hell going on? Bob and sentenced to 11 years in prison. I know I'm going to talk about that as well. There's a lot happening in the world. Let's continue.
Announced in 2015, and we won in 2016. We did very well in 2020, but we did really well just recently. And I'm restating right now to correct any confusion that the media has purposely and somehow, for whatever reason, created. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid have not been affected by any action we're taking in any way, shape, or form. We are merely looking at parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse. In that process, we identified and stopped $50 million being sent to Gaza to buy condoms for Hamas. 50 million. And you know what's happened to them? They've used them.
They've used them. They've used them to make bombs. Like, this is not real, by the way. As I said, a Guardian reporter investigated it and found that it was not real at all, which is the least shocking turn of events of all time. I said this yesterday when Caroline Leavitt was like, oh, I can't believe we're doing that. I can't believe we're doing that. I can't believe we're sending $50 million worth of condoms to Hamas. Yeah. Let's hear what Hamas is doing with the condoms that we are definitely sending.
As a method of making bombs. How about that?
Yo, I hate this shit, dude. I can't stand this motherfucker. I can't stand this stupid ass government. And honestly, it's kind of both parties at this point. Like, because this dumb shit was also happening under the Brandon regime too. Like, they are absolutely, maybe they wouldn't have said like, oh, we're giving $50 million to Hamas for condoms and they're using it for bombs, but they'd be doing that about like sugar, okay? I hate this shit. It's like a different version. It's a different attitude that we have, whereas the cruelty is still the same. It's still worse with the Republican ownership, though. 100%. God damn, dude. It's so fucking stupid.
We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI.
Yeah, also, here's some snippets, okay? No, the U.S. was never about to send $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza because Israel bans the entry of condoms to Gaza in the first place, along with crutches, seeded fruits, oxygen cylinders, water filtration systems, sleeping bags, cancer treatment, maternity kits, just so you understand. So condoms aren't even allowed. According to a comprehensive report issued in September by U.S. Aid, not a penny for the of the 60.8 million in contraceptive and condom shipments funded by the U.S. in the past year went to Gaza. In fact, the accounting shows there were no condoms sent to any part of the Middle East, and just one small shipment of $45,000 in oral and injectable contraceptives was sent to the region. All of it distributed to the government of Jordan. For the financial year of 2023, the most recent, for which data is available, only about 7 million worth of condoms were distributed globally by U.S. Aid, and the vast majority of family planning funds were spent in programs in Africa. What did I tell you yesterday? I didn't know a single damn thing about the actual details of this program, and I was like, I'm willing to bet that this is not like literally sending condoms to Gaza or whatever, but global sexual reproductive health measures, and they're just lying, and none of that went to Palestinians anyway, but they're probably just straight up lying about this, and it turns out they are. Strange. There was a community note on this tweet a while ago citing my reporting that what Press Secretary Elon Musk told her is not true, but note that now that note has been removed. I wonder why. Here are the facts again for those who prefer not to be lied to. That's last year, and it still says the U.S. has sent $60 million for birth control and condoms somewhere else. Not the hill you want to die on. So if you sent condoms somewhere else and contraceptives somewhere else, that means you send it to Palestine as well. Oh, dude, I did not realize that. Like, I didn't realize if the circumstances were entirely different, then it still actually is an own. It still suits your purposes. I didn't realize, buying contraceptives for countries in Africa is the same as, giving it to Palestinians, I guess. Anyway, let's continue.
Training contracts. This is just for the training of people in DEI, which has been terminated and completely terminated. And we paused $1.7 billion in unauthorized payments to foreign organizations, including stopping more than $40 million that was on its way out the door to the very corrupt World Health Organization, which has not done its job and not done it properly. We also...
Who's clapping for that, bro? Why would you clap?
We also blocked $45 million for diversity scholarships in Burma. 45, that's a lot of money for diversity scholarships in Burma. You can imagine where that money went. These were the types of payments, and many others. I could stand here all day and tell you things that we found, and we have to find them quickly because we want the money to flow to proper places. But these were the payments and types of payments affected by the temporary freeze, and the American people strongly support these efforts. I talked about it during the campaign, and they voted for us in record numbers. Every single day, we're now putting America first and fighting to get the most out of every single tax dollar for our great citizens. We've gathered this afternoon to take another historic action. However, in a few moments, the Laken Riley Act will become the very first bill that I proudly sign into law as the 47th President of the United States. Laken was a brilliant and beautiful 22-year-old nursing student from Georgia, the best in her class. She was always the best. They would say, Laken, how do you do this? And what do you do? They were always asking her questions. She was respected by everybody.
Laken Riley's family was like, hey, can you please not make our daughter's murder political? And now her name is associated with like one of the most insane. It's so crazy. It's so wild. No, her mom is all about it. No, I know, but like, they speak at this event too, thanking him, Oh my god. I thought someone in the family said Laken Riley family don't make this political. I know they've attended the Congress thing. But look. Laken Riley's dad doesn't want his daughter's death to be used politically. Mom, on the other hand, fucking loves this shit. Laken Riley was killed while on a run by Georgia College campus. Suspect is a Venezuelan citizen who entered U.S. illegally. Father of Laken Riley doesn't want her death to be used politically. Mom, on the other hand, massive Trump head, loves the shit, is going crazy over it. Mom wants her 15 minutes of fame. No, mom is just never mind. I'm not even going to get that.
Her teachers, they respected her so much from the time.
I'd rather her not be such a political, how can you say it, started a storm in our country, Jason Riley said of his daughter's death, and it's incited a lot of people. What? Please cover this. I'm losing hope. It has Turkish subtitles. Where are you from? Citizen, I'm from Tartus. Terrorism, you are Alawite. Citizen, you are Alawite. Terrorism, slaughter him with a knife. Thank you, Europe. If you think I'm going to watch some fucking random videos coming out of Syria right now that I don't even know from what year it actually is from, you are insane, dude. I'm sorry. I have no shot. I'm not going to sit here and watch a fucking terms of service violation video that you are sending me, like a live leak video. Are you okay?
She was in first grade. Laken knew
He's like, bro, the new former Al Qaeda leadership is actually assassinating Alawites. Here, can you watch this decapitation video, please? I'm losing my mind. Don't worry, my decapitation video also has Turkish subtitles. Is a fucking psychotic thing to come to me with at literally fucking 7 a.m. in the morning in Tokyo. What the fuck is going on right now? You're out of your goddamn mind, chatter. What the fuck? Oh, thanks, man. I can't wait. I didn't realize the live leak video of the Alawite dude who's getting his fucking head decapitated with a goddamn dull razor has Turkish subtitles for my viewing pleasure. Let me go fucking... Never mind.
To spend her time caring for others. That's what she did. To her friends and classmates, she was a light of warmth and kindness in every single room. To her parents and family, she was everything in the world. They've had a miserable period of time. Just after 9 a.m. last February 22nd, Laken went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia, but she was just never returned. She never came back, did she, huh? Parents are here, sister, all of her relatives. While on her run, Laken was attacked, viciously assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who was set loose into our country by the last administration. We are deeply honored to be joined today by Laken's parents, Allison and John, and her sister, Lauren. Thank you very much. Thank you. So sad. We were together right after that happened, and it's a tremendous tribute to your daughter, what's taking place today. That's all I can say, but so sad we have to be doing it at all. Thank you very much for being here. To Laken's family, we will keep Laken's memory alive in our hearts forever, everyone's hearts. With today's action, her name will also live forever in the laws of our country, and this is a very important law. This is something that has brought Democrats and Republicans together. That's not easy to do. Laken did it. Laken did it. America will never, ever forget Laken Hope Riley. The vicious criminal who murdered Precious Laken was an illegal alien member of the barbaric Venezuelan prison gang known as Tren de Aragua. He trespassed across our southern border in 2022. And was apprehended by Border Patrol, but under the cruel policies of the last administration, instead of being deported, as he should have been, he was released into the United States, as were millions of other people, many of them very dangerous people. And you see what we're doing? We're getting them the hell out of here. He was soon arrested again in New York City on charges of endangering a child, but because of New York City's deadly sanctuary policies, as we have in California and many other places, which we're ending, we're going to end them, he was released again to reoffend. The Biden administration then provided this illegal alien criminal with a free, taxpayer-funded flight from New York to Georgia, where he was arrested yet again, constantly, this time for stealing from a Walmart along with his gang member brother, who was a bad one. only after being released a third time by the U.S. law enforcement did this cold-blooded criminal go out in that fateful morning hunting for women on whom to prey. That's what he did. He hunted. He hunted. It was like a hunter. I'm going to show him who the hunter is. This horrific atrocity should never have been allowed to happen. And as president, I'm fighting every single day to ensure that such a tragedy never happens again. We don't want this to happen. And under the law, thank you. Under the law I'm signing today, the Department of Homeland Security will be required to detain all illegal aliens who have been arrested for theft, burglary, larceny, shoplifting, assaulting a police officer, murder, or any crime that results in death or serious injury. In addition, for the first time ever, this act gives state governments the ability to sue the federal government for immediate injunctive relief if any future administration ever again refuses to enforce the immigration laws of the United States, like happened for 4 long years. And that was happening for 4 long years, frightful years. Amazing. You'd say, how can people do this? How can they allow this to happen? How can they allow criminals to pour into our country and then try and defend it? And they're still trying to defend it, but they can't. That's why I'm here instead of somebody else, actually. It's the biggest reason. I believe it's the single biggest reason. Inflation was horrible. Many things were horrible during that administration. When you look at what took place in Afghanistan, the way they got out, not that they got out, but the way so many things were horrible. But to me, this was the worst of all. It's a landmark law that we're doing today. It's going to save countless innocent American lives. I want to thank every House Republican, every Senate Republican, as well as the 12 Senate Democrats and the 48 House Democrats who voted to pass this vitally important bill, and many of them are with us today, and I really do appreciate it. And I very much especially appreciate the bipartisan support. The Democrats, really a big percentage of them came through, and plenty of them wanted to. They probably felt they couldn't, but they really wanted to. That they don't understand that would have made them a lot more popular, would have made them a lot better with their people. The ones that didn't are going to be sorry, because the people are not going to forget that they wouldn't sign. This is a perfect, incredible tribute to an unbelievable young lady. We're joined today by many great supporters of our new strong border policies, and they are indeed strong.
Yeah, what a tribute, dude.
Vice President.
Just the murder and permanent detention without habeas corpus bill that we named after a person who we named after a person who was brutally murdered by an undocumented migrant. It's the most racist thing. It's like, it's just, I can't even get over it. I mean, this is just, you've now permanently associated this victim with a horrifying unconstitutional bill forever.
And Vance, thank you, JD. Secretary Scott Bessent, who just got approved, by the way. Where's Scott? He just got approved. Scott, I'm very impressed. Got a lot of Democrat votes, too. He got a lot of Democrat votes. It's great. I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll have to think about that. Secretary of Homeland Security, who's going to be fantastic. I know her so well. And I know it's probably not complimentary because she is a woman, but she is tough. Where is she? Where is Christy? Christy, great. Stand up, please. You have such an important job to do. Really great. Thank you very much. And don't let that look fool you. That look is, she's tough, and she cannot stand that she's having to sit here and even listen to this today. Another one who's done a job.
Bro, what the fuck does that mean?
Nobody that I've seen in a long time. Tom Homan, he's my friend, but he is something special.
What
What
does that mean? It's probably not a compliment to say that she's tough because she's a woman. What does that mean? I don't understand. Well, sometimes Trump has a way with words where I'm like, okay, in the sea of just baying, like violent baying for blood, he'll just say something where I'm like, that's amazing. Thank you for introducing this statement. She's a woman, but very tough. Now, she probably won't like it. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to be tough and a woman. It's not a good thing, and women hate being called tough.
Right. And Tom and Christy, the numbers are unbelievable. What's happened? It's like just shut down. Nobody thought that was even possible. It's just shut down. They showed an area that a year ago had thousands and thousands of people rushing into our country. And today there was nobody there. It was like a beautiful sight. And also Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso. Great guy, great guy. Thank you, John. And I also want to thank the bill sponsors, Senator Katie Britt. Katie, thank you, Katie. And Congressman Mike Collins. And Mike, you were fantastic from Georgia. He took this, he loves his state, and he took this very personally. So it's, thank you very much, Mike. As well as Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley. Chuck is here someplace. Chuck, thank you very much. You look great. And House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, who's a special guy, special man. And House Homeland Security Committee Chairman Mark Green. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. And we have many other congressmen and senators, but I'm not going to introduce because this is about your daughter. This is about something that's so important, and we're going to just go along. Thank you also. We have to say Burt Jones is in the room, and Burt is your lieutenant governor, and he was on this like you wouldn't believe. Thank you very much. I see you sitting there. Thank you very much. So we have state, local officials. We have law enforcement organizations. We have everybody. Most of them are in the room or represented in the room, and they're incredible people, and I've never seen them come together like they have for this. I've done many of these, not of this kind, but different bills, different passages having to do with many different things, from homeland security to inner security to taxes to 50 different items. I've never seen such support as you have today and as your great daughter has today. So I've never seen anything like it. And we have to thank your daughter for that, because she's going to save.
What are you saying? Have you heard the words coming out of your mouth? Like, we have to thank your daughter for being viciously and ruthlessly murdered by an undocumented migrant so that we could literally write a bill that, ruins the lives of millions of documented and undocumented migrants in the United States of America, and allows us to permanently detain them. Did he actually say that? No, he didn't say the words like that, which I wouldn't be shocked if he actually did say the words like that, because that's Donald Trump. But it's like, that's the principle behind saying, like, oh, I'm very thankful for your daughter. Like, look,
different
I'm
items.
going to run it
I've
again.
never seen such support as you have today and as your great daughter has today. So I've never seen anything like it. And we have to thank your daughter for that, because...
Like, do you guys not know what's happening? Like, how this became a thing? Laken Riley got murdered, and then the Republicans used that murder by hyper focusing on it and publicizing it over and over again to make it seem like undocumented migrants were just like doing rape murders all the time, literally nonstop. And then they named the bill after her. AP should have stole my story with zero credit. Wait, I received this memo just as you did, but it did not write about it until I could independently confirm it was authentic. So no, I did not steal your story. Can update without problem that you reported it first. And as you know, the screenshot was posted to a Facebook page. Trump's first year, a white girl was murdered by an undocumented worker, but it got swept under the rug because he worked on the farm of a prominent Republican businessman. This is the stress test for the Burger Reich. Wait, other than streamers like you, I primarily get my news from the Associated Press. Are they scummy? No, they're fine. They're great. Straight Nazi shit. Nazi Germany had a Jew crime section of the media to highlight every single crime a Jewish person did. Yeah, I mean, Breitbart also did that for black crime. And now we're there at Fox News for undocumented migrant crime. It's pretty crazy.
She's going to save a lot of lives. She's going to be responsible for saving a lot of lives. So I'd like to just say to the Angel families, I've been with them and they've been with me from 2015 when I first got this crazy idea in my head to run for president because we can do better as a country. I want to thank so many of the people that are here that have been the angel moms, and we call them angel moms, but they're angel families, fathers and sons and daughters, but they've suffered tremendously like you have for no reason whatsoever. I want to thank Alexis Nungari, the mother of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari, murdered last summer by 2 illegal alien gang members released into the United States by Joe Biden's open border stupid policies. And thank you very much, Alexis. I want to thank you very much. We had an amazing trip, and it was really special to meet you and your family. Appreciate it very much. So sad we have to be here, frankly. And Jocelyn, as you know, is in our hearts, as she was then. It was an amazing day we had, a great day. But it was a day of celebration of somebody that unfortunately won't be with us. But she is with us now, you know that. Here also is Patty Morin, the mother of Rachel Morin, killed 2 years ago by an illegal alien who was let into our country by the last administration's ridiculous, weak policies. Open border, can you imagine? When I heard open border, I said, oh, that's terrible. They're going to release their prisons all over the world. They're going to release their prisons into our country. That's exactly what happened. Patty is joined by Rachel's brother, Michael, Rachel's daughter, Clementine, and sister-in-law, Shannon. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. With us as well is the loving family of Kayla Hamilton, a 20-year-old girl murdered in July 2022 by the MS-13 illegal alien gang member who is violent, vicious, and they knew it, and they didn't do anything about it. And I want to thank you to Kayla's mother, Tammy, and her grandmother, Kathy, and her stepfather, Jeremiah, very much. And finally, I want to thank others who have also suffered this horrible scourge that goes on with young people being killed, and other people too, but young people, largely young people being killed. Thank you to Scott Root, the father of Sarah Root, killed at 21 years of age. Think of that, 21, by an illegal alien. Shouldn't have been in our country, would have never been in our country if we were here. What a sad thing. To each of these angel families, we love you and we stand in awe of your courage and your strength. It's the toughest thing anybody has to go through. Many of the angel families here today were betrayed by the last administration. And
Yeah, I saw another Roman salutis hit the tower.
The last stand for Christendom. It's make or break time. The whole of the old world is crumbling. Every country in Europe is embracing death. America, as far as I could see, is the only country fighting for life. And that's down to you guys. So God bless all of you for what you're doing. Please keep doing it. I hope that I can encourage you. And my heart goes out to you. God bless.
Yo, we're in it. 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 This is why it was so ridiculous when Elon Musk did that and everybody saw what was going on. And there were still dumb fucks who were like, was he actually doing the Nazi salute? It's like, no, that's the reason why he was doing it. This is the reason why he was doing it. It's just like, he's making fun of Elon, isn't he? No, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean he's making fun of Elon? It's not. What do you mean? He's not making fun of Elon. No, he's doing the Hitler salute. This is a fucking freak ass right-wing psychotic pastor who just hit the fucking Sig Heil in broad daylight. He's not making fun of Elon Musk. There's no making fun of Elon Musk in this situation. He's just, it's not a dog whistle. Guys. Dog whistles are when you hide the truth, right? Like when your true intention is being racist and you hide it with a dog whistle, because normal human beings can't hear a dog whistle. You're whistling a different frequency that only dogs can hear. Okay? This is a fucking bullhorn. Sig Heiling is an air raid siren. It is the exact opposite of a dog whistle. No one goes, oh, wow, this person is Sig Heiling. I wonder what that's about. Everyone knows what that's about. That's the one thing that everybody knows. The only other thing that you can, I guess, add on to this that virtually everybody fucking should understand is just the stupid ass mustache. Okay? That's it. At that point, you're just Hitler, okay? There's no plausible deniability. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yes, I know he's a political commentator. He's a fucking freak ass bitch. That's what he is. Here, in July 2021, Robinson appeared in an interview on Channel 4 News with the singer left-wing political activist Billy Bragg on the decision of England's football team players to take the knee in protest against racism. He said the action was disgusting and argued that in taking the knee, the team was promoting Black Lives Matter, which he described as a neo-Marxist, anti-British, anti-family organization. Robinson is a Eurosceptic, having stood previously for the election as a candidate for the Brexit Party. Hostile to Islam, states frequently that Britain is a Christian country. He stated in August 2024 that we need to remove Islam from Britain. Robinson's political views have been characterized as conservative and as right-wing. He has been labeled far-right by Hope Not Hate and by Searchlight magazine, while Simon Hill, writing in the Church Times, described him as having excused far-right violence, and the clergyman writer Michael Corrin has described him as a hero and darling of the high right. Reviewing Robinson's contribution to GB News, which is Fox News but for England, okay? Alan Rusbridger described him as a conspiracy theorist who lacked credibility. Robinson himself has rejected the characterizations of his political views, describing the far-right label as crazy, and described being labeled a conspiracy theorist as a badge of honor. Let's look at it.
Please keep doing it. I hope that I can encourage you, and my heart goes out to you.
Dude's a Brit. Yeah, I think he has also like Jamaican origin too. Dude, there's no my heart goes out to you, man. There's no, that's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing, guys. That's not a thing. It's not a dog whistle either. It's just a straight up fucking bullhorn. Oh my Lord, dude. Shit is really busted. It's clearly bait. Oh, dude, that's sick bait, man. Oh, that's sick bait. That's so sick. I didn't realize people were just baiting. People were just baiting by sig heiling. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't want to tell you what I think should happen to people that do that, but I will keep thinking it. Okay, and I think most people know what should happen. There was a war that was fought and won. Okay, it was a very good war. It was one of the only good wars that America engaged in. Okay, there is no baiting. There's no, I'm just pretending to be a fucking neo-Nazi. I'm just pretending to be a Nazi by sig heiling. Okay, well, maybe you should pretend to receive the consequences as well. You're not going to be able to pretend out of that one. Yeah, Hitler was just baiting, bro. You don't understand, bro. I'm just putting the armband as a bait, bro. You don't understand, bro. I'm just developing the youth brigade as a bait, bro. You don't understand, bro. I'm just voting for deportation, mass deportations, and concentration camps as a bait, bro. You don't get it. Egg prices are going to go down. Okay, egg prices didn't go down. Maybe we'll make America and Western civilization a white civilization all of a sudden. We must defend us. We must secure the existence of a white nation for our children. All of a sudden, I'm just baiting. I'm just baiting. I'm Jared Taylor now, but I'm still baiting. I'm still baiting. I'm Adolf Hitler. I'm Adolf Hitler now, and I'm still baiting. I'm Hitler's guy. I'm Hitler's top guy. Adolf Hitler. Just a bait. Oh. Last month, Calvin Robinson brought anti-Semitic Christian nationalist pastor Joel Webbin. Oh, this guy is a fucking psychopath. This one is an extra psychotic guy. Dude, why do all these fucking pastors have podcasts, man? What the shit is happening? What is going on, man? What the hell is going on? Why the fuck does every goddamn pastor have a podcast now? Dude, pick a struggle, dude. Pick a struggle. Like, what is this? Oh my God, it's so fucking annoying. Yeah, here. This guy is insane. Israel. Like, stick to TV shit, man. Be a televangelist. What is this podcasting stuff? Anyway, this guy's a rabid anti-Semite.
Politically, I think is problematic with these United States of America. I do not think that this is a healthy political relationship. Religiously, spiritually, Judaism, I believe, is a pernicious evil.
Dude, if you're a Christian pastor in the right-wing circuit and you're anti-Israel, you are probably the second coming of Adolf Hitler. Like, you have to be extra anti-Semitic to be anti-Israel. Many right-wing pastors in the Christian movement are anti-Semitic, but they are so super pro-Israel. Okay? Like, if you're a priest, if you are a priest that is that has like a clergy, whatever you call it, but then also on top of that, like you're like a relatively famous priest. Okay? That is right-wing. And you are anti-Semitic, that's fine. That's normal. That's commonplace. But if you're anti-Israel, holy moly, you got to be the craziest. You got to be the craziest anti-Semite of all time.
I really do. I don't think that all false religions are equal. And I think we should be aware of that.
He's saying Judaism is a false religion, of course, duh, obviously, but worse than all of the other false religions. What a freak.
and talk about that at a temporal level and then also an eternal level. Israel.
Yeah, Abrahamic religion, by the way, but very cool stuff. Cool. We fucked up after World War II in just the same way we fucked up Reconstruction in America. Yeah. Trump is signing an executive order on deporting pro-Palestinian students. Yeah. Wonderful stuff. Once again, Trump to sign an EO today on anti-Semitism, instructing all federal agencies to ID civil and criminal authorities available to combat it and find ways to deport anti-Jewish activists who violated laws. The executive order calls for the deportation of resident aliens, including students with visas who broke the laws or part of an anti-Israel protest following October 7, 2023 terrorist attacks in Israel, which, by the way, this process started under the Biden administration. They did that like 2 times. Kind of a crazy time to be alive, where Jennifer Jacobs is a CBS News reporter, CBS senior White House news reporter, and the newspaper that they're quoting that broke the story is the New York Post. This is a random aside. I'm just giving you like a little bit of media analysis here, maybe a little gossipy, but this shows where we're at even in this sector, okay? This is the CBS News senior White House reporter giving, like, she's not breaking the story. The New York Post broke the story. The New York Post, which is a dish rag, the New York Post, which is a racist toilet paper newspaper, okay, is breaking stories from the current White House. Like, New York Post literally ran with the Haitians are eating cats and dogs story so hard that anytime there was a fucking car accident that took place in Springfield, Ohio, if the driver was black, New York Post would write an article about it. Okay? Hassan is not getting back into the country. I mean, I'm an American citizen, so they can suck me from the back. That's not a problem. At the CBS station here in Milwaukee, they fire someone for criticizing Musk, but has kept the drunk driver on. Okay, to be fair, they shouldn't have fired either. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of drunk driving. I mean, just a little. He's just having fun, bro. Come on. It's just so much more fun when you're drunk. It's so boring when you drive sober, dude. Trump restored an executive order on vandalism of public monuments, citing pro-Hamas related vandalism and related attacks on federal officers and employees after Hamas. Dude, oh my God, he did an executive order on vandalism and assaults on federal officers and employees after doing a blanket pardon for January 6th. He did a blanket pardon on January 6th, including dudes who beat on cops, only to turn around and be like, and you know what? These fucking non-binary English majors are truly the real terrorists for saying our special boy, our special guy, our special country, Israel, for hurting his feelings, for hurting her feelings. Sorry, Israel goes by she, her. I fucked up Israel's pronouns. My bad. Okay, I'm misgendering Israel. I'm sorry. Oh, Israel. I'm Israel High. Yeah, we'll do DeepSeek AI news updates in a little bit from Fireship as well. Another banger from Fireship. But currently, the world is on fire, or at least the American government is completely on fire. Donald Trump has lit the match.
With this heartless and foolish and really very, very arrogant and very, very dumb policies that aren't even believable when you talk about common sense. I say we're the party of common sense, but the Democrats also, they have plenty of common sense, and that's why so many are here today and so many supported what we're doing. The very government that was supposed to protect their daughters instead opened our borders and transported the world's most dangerous criminals straight into their communities. They came from prisons and jails and insane asylums and mental institutions from all over the world, not just South America. People think South America. They come from all over the world. They come from every continent. And they came here by plane, and they were loaded onto buses, and they were driven right up to our border, and they drove right through the border, and nobody even said a word to them. And in those buses and those cars and those trucks were some of the meanest criminals anywhere in the world. As of last September, 425,000 illegal alien criminals were roaming free, including 13,099 convicted illegal alien murderers, of which about almost 50% killed more than one person, and they were roaming all over the country in our farms, in our cities. Under the Trump administration, we're moving with urgency and speed to get these vicious and violent criminals the hell out of our country and to restore law and order to our suburbs, our cities, and our towns. And we're going to do it with Tom and with Christy and with all of the people that are working so hard on this. This week, compared to a comparable time a year ago, think of this, the number of illegal border crossers has already fallen by more than 100%. And because the election was coming, they started getting a little bit tougher on the border. They tried to follow our policies, and they did much better, but it still was horrible. The numbers were still horrible, so that's 100% over those. They only did it because of the election, so they knew what they were doing was wrong. And those who do cross the border, and you're seeing that every time, all you have to do is turn on your television set or pick up a newspaper, read any form of new media, because we have a lot of new media today, fortunately, that's letting the word get out. But they're watching these people be captured and removed from our country. ICE arrests have risen by 15 times in just a short period. And over the past 8 days, the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, we can never forget Border Patrol. Those people, I've gotten to know so many of them. Our border czar, as you remember, never went to the border and never made a phone call. She was the border czar. She never made one phone call.
Yeah, get him.
They went to the heads of the border. They went to the heads of ICE. Did you ever get a...
Shouts out to Hasanabi by Trump. Yeah, he is talking about me. For real. He really is. He's like, Hasanabi Biker. He's done a lot. He's done a lot for me. He's done a lot. Kept playing the song. I will vote for Donald Trump. He's done a lot for me and the Mexicans. That's why all of the Latinos voted for me. All the Hispanics voted for me. I love my Mexicans. Definitely don't want him aware of you. I'm not going to lie. At this point, they probably are. No, at this point, like, I don't think Trump knows who I am directly, but there's a non-zero chance that I've been brought up in at least a meeting that he was attending. But yeah, like, his sons know who the fuck I am. Guys, you have to remember, like, I'm like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is a part of the Trump squad. You know what I mean? This is a dude that I've debated all the way back in like 2016 at Politicon. I'm really important? No, it's not. It's not. That's not what I'm saying at all. What are we doing? I have like, it's so crazy, dude. I got the New York Times writing fucking articles, like numerous mainstream publications writing articles about me. And motherfuckers in the chat still are like, nah, dog, you got no motion, you fucking idiot. Shut the fuck up. Oh, look at you trying to act like anybody knows who the fuck you are. Shut up, ugly ass. Like, guys, I don't know if you know this. XQC met Donald Trump, another person who I know very well, who I used to be very friendly with, who then got groomed by Andrew Tate and became this like right-wing guy, fucking hates me, and also interviewed Donald Trump. Like, he interviewed Donald Trump. He kickstarted the Donald fucking Trump media tour. Anyway, not good. It's not a good thing. Didn't you mean? Yes, Aiden Ross. I'm talking about Aiden Ross. But yeah, the reason why I said that is because he's talking about new media here. Their team is really tapped in on that stuff, dude. It's obvious, okay? It's obvious that their team is really tapped in on that stuff.
No. And she admitted she never made one call, but she was the border czar. And that's exactly what our border was all about. The heroes of ICE have arrested thousands and thousands of illegal alien criminals, including hundreds of gang members, traffickers, child predators, terrorists, and murderers. For the first time in history, we're loading dangerous and illegal aliens into military aircraft and flying them back to the places from which they came. You probably read about Colombia 2 days ago. They said, no, we're not taking them. I said, we're going to take them. You're going to take them. You're going to like it, too. You're going to take them. They talked about we're not going to take people that are in shackles. I said, well, but the people that are in shackles are murderers, they're drug lords, they're rapists, they're very tough people. They make our criminals look like.
Aiden did a collab with Vivek Ramaswamy. Oh my God, this has got to be a punishment. By the way, like this, this has to be a punishment for Vivek Ramaswamy, dude.
One thing I don't really know if I should ask here. You could just wait, hold on. Let me pull it up for you really, really quick.
Sometimes I think maybe I should have never started doing like political commentary on this. Sometimes I think to myself, perhaps doing political commentary on Twitch and just like in the streaming format was maybe not the best idea.
Sorry, this I don't even know what that is. That right there. If you prefer me to stay.
A lot of people are asking about the APAC.
What is that?
Ask about APAC. Oh, this guy keeps going. Ask him. Yeah, so APAC is basically a PAC. Well, what is a PAC? It's like a political donation group. But APAC is a particular political donation group that supports the cause of Israel in the United States.
Oh, okay.
So they're saying ask about APAC. And I think that probably what they mean is like, what's the influence of APAC on our politics?
Yeah, that's what they mean. That's what they're asking for sure. This is his penance for telling downwardly mobile whites to study Steve Urkel. It's the deranged right-wing version of making celebrities meet with Al Sharpton after saying something racist. Talk about a humiliation ritual. Yeah, this is the right-wing version of that. Even Ryan responded. He said, they even have his face looking chastened in the promo image. It's the saddest he's ever looked. He knows he wasted years pretending to love Babylon Bee and monster trucks, and he has to start all over again because of his big mouth. Dude, you coming to Twitch is a good thing. Yeah, but also sometimes I can't help but feel like the floodgates have been opened in terms of commentary on the streaming side. And, we had a good 4-year run where right-wing commentary wasn't as dominant, at least in this sector. And now it's just the floodgates have opened, dude. Pandora's box is opened. And I mean, look, it was inevitable that the right would move on to this new medium and really plant their flag in it. And we are there now. We are there. They're really planting that flag.
For nice people, that's about the only thing that comes out of this. And I say, could you imagine you're a pilot on the plane and you have your co-pilot and you're sitting there and you have 150 people, no shackles, and they like to murder people? And this would not be a good flight. So Colombia apologized to us profusely within an hour.
I have a genuine question as a centrist. Uh-oh. Fast forward 3 years, hypothetically, Trump's government has reduced overpopulation crisis. Well, not a real thing, okay, but cool. Centrist, but worried about a crisis that's not real, okay. Improved economy tenfold, okay. Kept world peace and ushered in ceasefires not only for Gaza, but also Ukraine. Would the left say he did a decent job, or would they still hate him despite positive results? So I can't speak for the rest of the quote-unquote left, unless you're talking about liberals. I don't know where liberals would go in that circumstance. Having said that, however, what an incredible hypothetical where Trump improved the economy tenfold. Yeah, that seems a little ridiculous. However, ushering in ceasefires for not only Gaza, but also Ukraine. This is an interesting question. Now, it is entirely dependent on the ways in which this happens. Okay, but if you're asking me where I would be on this issue, I'm fair always. If Trump does something that I consider to be a good thing, that I demanded that the Democrats do, for example, for months and months and months. We have a similarly guy that's coming up in popularity in the UK called Nigel Farage. We are worried about him. Yes, I know who Nigel Farage is. Okay? British centrist. I know. I'm very familiar with Nigel Farage and the Reform Party. And it's so funny to talk about Nigel Farage as an up-and-comer. Just this new little guy. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, if Donald Trump does something in foreign policy, in the foreign policy world that I somewhat agree with, and it's rare, but it does happen, I'm the first guy to give him credit. I'm the first guy to give Joe Biden credit too when he does something that I agree with, like pulling out of Afghanistan. Objectively a good thing that Joe Biden did. It was the left, the max left, if you will, that defended Joe Biden's Afghan withdrawal. Liberals immediately went after Joe Biden and started criticizing him in media, mainstream media. So that's it. If Trump does something, like, you don't come here to listen to me because I'm going to sit here and lie to you about what Trump is doing and make you feel better about like voting for the Democratic Party. That's what a lot of people think I do, because they just don't really have an understanding of politics in general, and that's by design. A big part of what I do is try to explain to people like how American politics works, or how politics works in general, how the media works in general. And I will always tell you what my biases are, and I think that's more honest than just hiding what your biases are, because I think everyone is biased. Okay? That's number one. You can make up your own mind about my commentary or my analysis or the things I'm saying with the full knowledge of knowing where I'm coming from. Okay? But regardless of my biases or my worldview, if Donald Trump does something that I agree with, I will always say, I agree with this. Yeah, I praised Trump in his first go around, right? First time he was president. I praised him for his rapprochement with the DPRK, 100%. I said that was objectively good, and dare I say even better than the way that the Democrats had approached the situation. Do you think Asman has been or is being offered money to go full-blown right-wing talking head, even though I know he was dumb enough to think this already? No. Asmongold does not care about money. This comes across as like an insane thing to say. He already has far too much money than he knows what to do with. No, this is pro bono. He likes the additional attention that he's getting. He loves the admiration that he's getting from some of these right-wing freaks who shower him with both praise and also views. It also 100% corresponds to his worldview as well. Please, I am Dodd. I am Department of Defense. With Trump signing the Gitmo order and the Laken Riley Act, migrants can be sent to Gitmo for minor offenses where they can be tried in front of a military tribunal. There's no plan to deport them. Trump wants to lock them up forever, either on permanent charges or execute them. It's horrible. Yeah, the problem with that is that Gitmo as a facility, I don't think can be permanently used as an immigrant detention camp. I think that, that is like, I know what you're saying. And I understand where you're coming from. I think it's going to be worse than that. But Gitmo doesn't have that much space. So I think the real scary thing is they're going to go after like the private prison. They've already mentioned this. The private prison companies have already mentioned how wonderful this is. But what they're gonna end up doing is they will build more detention facilities and use private prisons to perma detain people.
Based on something I said, meaning you're going to pay tariffs like nobody's ever paid tariffs before, but they actually wanted to terminate his position. They're essentially Congress met and they were very angry with them. But they actually said they were going to send the presidential plane to pick up these criminals and to bring them because they didn't want to inconvenience us or have us do a second flight. And that's what they did. And I appreciate it. And I do appreciate the people of Colombia are wonderful people. And the representatives really acted well. And I appreciated they took back that tough talk. But, we may have tough talk from others, but it's not going to mean anything. They're going to all take them back, and they're going to like it, too. They're going to like it. They're going to take it back, and they're going to like it. Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity.
Yes, concentration camps. Remember, when I said that Trump said that he's going to do this and that this is real, there's a real problem, and it's real Nazi shit. I just want to remind you that people were like, nah, it won't happen. Well, it has.
Capacity immediately, right? And tough. That's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. And these are illegal alien killers, criminals at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And you would have known that, and you were there when I said it. I said everybody that's bad is going to be thrown. If you look at Venezuela, Venezuela's crime is down 77%. Because they've taken their gang members, their prisoners, their drug dealers, their drug lords. They've shipped them all into the United States. Many other countries, their crime is way down, and our crime is not doing well. But we're going to have it do really well very soon, and we're shipping all these people back where they came from. And now, before I sign the Laken-Riley Act into law, I would like to ask Laken's really incredible mother, who I've gotten to know. A very sad day I got to know her. But this is an amazing tribute to an amazing young person. And if you could come up, Allison, and say a few words, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Trump. We would like to thank Senator Katie Britt for her diligent bipartisan work to get this bill through the Senate. We'd also like to thank Congressman Mike Collins for his unwavering passion and for leading.
It took Hitler 50 days between becoming chancellor and the first camp opening, and Trump is on day 9. I mean, yeah, if you're rerunning the same route, you just know which mistakes not to run into, I guess. You can be more efficient. Bro has game FAQ pulled up. Yeah.
On the Laken-Riley Act from the start. Our family will forever be grateful for the prayers of the people across our nation and for helping to get this legislation into law. I also want to thank President Trump for the promises he made to us.
So you're saying we did learn from the Second World War? Yes, the worst lessons. We learned the wrong lessons. We did learn lessons from World War II, just not good ones, okay? Bad ones. And here we are using the bad lessons that we learned.
He said he would secure our borders and that he would never forget about Laken. And he hasn't. He's a man of his word. Trust that he will fight for the American people. Most importantly, I want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without his sacrifices, Laken's story would have ended on that horrific day that she...
What are we thanking Jesus because your daughter's horrific murder is being used as a political tool? Oh my God.
She was taken from us. But because of him, we can continue living knowing that we will see Laken again. There's no amount of change that will ever bring back our precious Laken. Hope moving forward.
By the way, if you want to know how like the Trump stuff works, look, Baytar US, join us at the Jihad rally as we assist ICE in deportation efforts. We will document all attendees and even those in kafiyas and masks will identify thanks to Terror Watch 613. Baytar will submit the names and attendees to Donald Trump. Get out now. It's simply to try and stop people. It's simply to try and stop people from exercising their First Amendment rights to free expression. Like, this is a vigil for Hind Rajab executed by the Israeli state, right? And at Zuccotti Park, they're setting up a vigil for her. Very famous story, as you guys know. And now that these pro-Israeli groups, fake AF, no, this isn't fake. That's not, you're wrong. We even saw this last night we saw this last night on Will's stream. Remember? If you were watching it at that point, it was like probably fucking 3 a.m., 4 a.m. But there was a political rally happening in Japan, like randomly, okay? And in that political rally, groups from that party were filming the counter-protesters. There was a counter-protester at the rally saying, this is a cult, this party is a cult, this political party is a cult party. And the party itself, members of the party itself, were literally filming the counter-protesters. Why do people do that? They do that so that they can intimidate and harass. They do that so they can find, any sort of compromising footage of them They do that specifically so they can stop any sort of counter protest from happening. This is the Zionist organization that is feeding the Trump admin the names of the people they want deported by simply attending the anti-genocide protests or vigils for Talib by Israeli soldiers. The Trump admin is throwing away our constitutional rights to these vile people. Which civilians? Gaza has none, says Beitar USA. Yeah. This works alongside the face covering ban, the mask bans. Okay? Like, first they ban the masks so you can't, like, you know, hide your identity when you attend a protest or whatever. Then they petition the Trump administration to take like rigorous enforcement on people who are protesting against Israel, okay? Or even doing a vigil for one of the victims, one of the child victims of Israel, okay? They'll go there and after unmasking you, they will film you, they will find your information, they'll dox you, and they will send it to the American government so the American government can take care of it. Okay? That is precisely what's going on here. It is a multifaceted approach to stopping free speech and free expression and any kind of political demonstration from happening as it pertains to the issue of Israel. Okay? And then the Trump administration is now, with this latest executive order, looking to deport people. They're looking to deport people for this. It's crazy. It's completely unacceptable.
Is that her life saves lives. We're so thankful that her passion for helping others and her legacy for doing good in the name of Jesus Christ will carry on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to sign this in honor of Laken Riley. Come on up here, some of the people that we love that have been so instrumental. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
President, government funding, can you take a quick question?
I don't think this is appropriate time, really. I respect that, but I don't think it's appropriate. I can just tell you government is doing very well, and we're cutting way back, but this is not the appropriate time. Thank you.
Joining us now is NBC Sahil Kapoor on Capitol Hill. Just to remind.
Yeah, White House is rescinding the attempt to freeze federal aid spending, by the way. Regarding 30,000 prisoners at Gitmo, considering the peak population was 778 for $540 million per year, where do they expect to house 40x times more people? I don't know. I truly don't know. I have no understanding of the logistics of how they're going to make this work in Guantanamo Bay. As far as I understand, it's not that big of a facility. So I don't know how that would work.
This was a two-page memo, but one that potentially impacted and froze money to as many as 2,600 programs in the federal government.
This is how Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth discusses repurposing the golf course at Guantanamo Bay to house immigrants who are delayed in the deportation process. Oh, camps. Oh, camps. Got it.
So I want to make sure I understand this the way you described it. Of course, the image that's going to be evoked by many people when you say Guantanamo Bay is going to be the prison side of Guantanamo Bay. And the question is, are you treating illegal immigrants the same way you treated Khalid Sheikh Mohammed? What you're telling us is, and I know this to be true, Guantanamo's been used for illegal immigrants dating back, I think it's 30 years. Bill Clinton used it for something very similarly back in the 1990s. So you're going to be using it as a way station, in essence, where criminal illegal immigrants are not yet accepted.
Hey, there are plenty of facilities inside of the United States of America, guys. Why is it that they're using the one in Cuba? I wonder why they are choosing to use the one facility that is a military facility on Cuban soil. It's to play the same song and dance that we have like some sort of respect for international human rights or our own domestic rights, by the way. That's it. It's to act out the lie that we actually care about due process or whatever otherwise. But there is no due process on Cuban soil. That's why Guantanamo Bay operates. That's why Guantanamo Bay after 9/11 was used as a facility for torturing terrorists, people that we had declared enemies of the state. Because it's not on American soil. So technically, given its status being on Cuban soil, things that were declared unconstitutional initially that were then, protected by the Constitution, like enhanced interrogation techniques, also known as torture, initially could be done there freely. and many other things as well. It's how you can hold someone indefinitely without a trial, because it's not a part of the U.S. Constitution. It's where you can hold people indefinitely without a trial or without any investigation of whether or not they actually committed a wrongdoing or not. A denial of habeas corpus. Okay? It's a permanent involuntary hold facility because it is not on U.S. soil technically. Because if you were to do it on U.S. soil, then, you know, some legal hurdles would have to be cleared.
Their home country. Do I have that correctly? And if that's the case, describe for me the kind of illegal immigrant that will be sent to Guantanamo.
More or less, you're right. It's folks who maybe are in transit to their home country or a safe third harbor country, and it's taking a little time to move with that processing or the paperwork. Better they be held at a safe location like Guantanamo Bay, which is meant and built for migrants, meant and built to sustain that away from the American people as they are processed properly to where they came from. I can break down for you the locations at Gitmo because it's burned in my brain. I spent so much time there. Right. They're built for it. One of them is the golf course on the Naval Station, which can be expanded to provide an additional 6,000 places where migrants or illegals could go. So this is a plan in movement, but not in movement because we're behind, but because we're ramping up for the possibility to expand mass deportations because President Trump is dead serious about getting illegal criminals out of our country.
Oh, yes, the Australian method. Yeah, it is the Australian method, chatter. We got Aussies in the chat that know what their government does. Please turn the volume up a little bit more, King.
And the DOD is not only willing to, is proud to partner with DHS to defend the sovereignty of our southern border and advance that mission.
Anyway, let's get back to the White House rescinding the attempt to freeze federal aid spending and also opinions from the Judge McConnell.
There was huge pushback. What happened?
That's absolutely right, Chris. This is a major turnaround for the Trump White House, rescinding this memo that went out late Monday night that caused all sorts of chaos and confusion.
I think you're going to see a lot of stuff like this where the Trump White House does something so insane, like truly heinous and insane. And because there's no like real counterbalance whatsoever, there's no real line of attack, there's no real resistance against that, right? Because there's none of that. Basically, they'll just end up taking it back, or they'll have internal struggle. Like they are going to fight amongst themselves because there's no one else to fight against them. Putting up practice shots, yes.
Ordering federal government departments and agencies to freeze what could have been hundreds of billions of dollars in federal aid funding while those agencies were ordered to comply with President Trump's new executive orders. Now, in a new memo that I obtained about 45 minutes ago, the OMB has officially rescinded that Monday memo. This comes after enormous pushback from Democrats who argue that this could harm programs that their constituents rely on in red states and blue states. It has sparked some reaction already here on Capitol Hill. The rescission, that is. Senator Chuck Schumer, the Democratic minority leader, says, quote, though the Trump administration failed in this tactic, it's no secret that they will try to find another. And when they do, it will again be Senate Democrats there to call it out, fight back, and defend American families, unquote. That's Chuck Schumer taking some credit for creating the kind of noise and pushback that sparked the White House to rescind this memo. The White House tried a tactic yesterday to simply clarify the original memo, which was vaguely worded. It didn't make clear which programs were.
Go Demis go. Dude, they didn't do anything. That's what I'm saying. This is what I mean. They just straight up did not do anything. They literally didn't do anything. The Republicans were like, the one guy that did something was a Reagan era judge. Okay. And I'm not even giving him that much credit because it's or not the Reagan era judge. The freeze wasn't, the Reagan era judge was for the, oh my God, there's so many executive orders. The Reagan era judge was against birthright, which was like clearly unconstitutional. There was another judge that applied. I don't know if he was a Reagan era judge or not, but there was another judge that obviously applied a stop. A Biden judge, a Brandon judge. That's it. That's the only thing that Democrats technically did. What remains of the judicial system that hasn't been completely destroyed.
weren't affected in terms of that federal aid.
Yeah,
freeze.
their urgency was non-existent. White House Budget Office has officially rescinded the order authorizing a federal freeze on grants, according to the document obtained by the Washington Post. The timing of it is really funny because it was 4 minutes before the Democratic Party's emergency meeting that took place not immediately after this thing came down the wire, but a whole 24 hours afterwards. Absolutely brutal Quinnipiac poll for the Democrats. Republican Party gets 43% favorability rating, 45% unfavorability rating. The Democratic Party gets 31% favorability, 57% unfavorability. Democrats keep going. You didn't vote for us. You didn't vote for us over and over again. And then refuse to do anything that is helpful for their constituents. Refusing to launch any sort of serious battle against the Republican Party, trying to undermine their agenda in any meaningful fashion. The Democrats straight up are the light Republican Party at this point. Or, I mean, not at this point. They've been the light Republican Party. And then all of a sudden, we're supposed to be shocked that nobody likes them and their base of support has withered away. I know the press secretary said something else, chat. Don't worry. I know. I have that on the docket as well. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Where is it? Ay. We're so fucking cooked, dude. Oh. I thought the stream froze. You were so still. Yeah, it's because I'm EP.
One of the big questions there was Medicaid. The White House was not clear initially whether Medicaid would be part of that freeze. That's 72 million people who had health insurance who could potentially be affected. They issued a clarifying memo yesterday saying that Medicaid was not affected, but still the confusion that this has sparked across the country appeared to be enough for the White House to say simply no need for the federal aid freeze anymore. And the agencies and departments can try to comply with President Trump's executive orders without the more aggressive action of freezing aid. In a way, Chris, this is politically the first win that Democrats have had in the new Trump era. This was something that the Democrats were very united on in terms of pushing back, right in their sweet spot of saying, of trying to convey to voters that they're the party of middle-class benefits and using the government to try to protect people who need it. So next steps, Trump's executive orders remain in place. He's signed a flurry of them. Now the government is going to have to try to implement them without this drastic step.
Okay, couple points here. Number one, Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, said this is not a rescission of the federal funding freeze. This is simply a rescission of the OMB memo. Why? To end any confusion created by the court's injunction. The president's executive orders on federal funding remain in full force and effect and will be rigorously implemented. Now, as you guys know, this is happening because, well, the real reasons why it's happening is because this has been a fantasy project for the Republican Party for quite some time, which is undermining the federal government and destroying all the grant structures that go to 501c3s that work with, underserved people or any number of different causes, including veterans and things like that. But the reality of the matter is the Republicans have fantasized about turning this process into a privatized one for quite a while. And, Trump, the mad lad, is absolutely doing it, right? He's pushing for it at least. So this is something that the Republicans have fantasized about for quite a bit. But the reason why they say they're doing this is even more insane. If you ask Donald Trump, the reason why they're doing this is because they want to combat woke. That's right. They're doing this because they want to combat woke. Yeah. They're looking at the federal government grants, like spending grants, and they are investigating which one of those grants are going to quote unquote woke causes. It's crazy. Yeah, they're looking at Marxist equity initiatives. So if you are, I don't know, working with like homeless people or something, and that is considered obviously a Marxist socialist equity initiative, then yeah, your funding is going to get taken away. No more funds for that sort of thing. The only initiatives that are allowed is if you teach homeless veterans how to do cryptocurrency schemes or something. Bootstrapping. In court just now, the states are introducing press secretary saying the funding freeze is still active as evidence that the lawsuit should continue. Judge McConnell says that prior to the withdrawal of the OMB spending freeze memo, he was inclined to issue a temporary restraining order given the lack of clarity / potential for harm. Now he thinks there may need to be a case-by-case legal action as funding is blocked. The states say the White House statement suggests the original sweeping spending freeze is still in effect, even if the OMB memo describing it has been pulled. The harm continues, they say, so they want a restraining order. Judge McConnell will grant the restraining order, saying the withdrawal of the hugely ambiguous OMB order is only a distinction without a difference based on comments by President's press secretary. What? Just to be clear, this isn't Buzz Lightyear the toy. This is the origin story of the human Buzz Lightyear that the toy is based on. Yeah. Do you think community health centers fall under equity? What do you think? Yes. Anything that is like helping underserved people, underserved communities, populations, marginalized people in general is yes. 100%. It is 1,000%, not 100, 1,000% Marxist nonsense. Good news. Senate Dems blocked the ICC sanction bill besides Fetterman. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that the I only saw that because Republicans were complaining because they think that the Democrats blocked it because of Huma Abedin. Because technically Huma Abedin, right? That's her name, right? Is it Huma Abedin? No. What's George Clooney's wife's name? Amal Clooney, not Huma Abedin. Shit. I keep messing this up. Why do I keep doing that? That's like the 8th time I've done this. Amal Clooney, George Clooney's wife, as you guys know, is a British lawyer and a human rights activist. Okay? I don't know. Why do I keep doing that? That's like, Huma Abedin is fucking Hillary Clinton's assistant, dude. What the fuck is wrong with me? This is literally the 8th time that I have mistaken these two names. I don't know why. Your race is probably, yeah, for sure. That's what it is. Anthony Weiner's ex-wife, yes, famously. Yeah, they kind of have that same like hot Mena beauty look to them. That's probably why. So Republicans are claiming that the Democrats actually blocked this. Republicans actually blocked this because Amal Clooney, the British lawyer and human rights activist that works with the ICC on the Israel case, would get sanctioned by this. So George Clooney made the boss call to the Democrats, as he's a top donor of the Democrats, and told the Democrats to, go against this. That's the speculation. And I think it's very funny that the Republicans think that the Democrats actually give a shit about George Clooney to that degree. They don't give a shit about anything. More horrifying stories from Trump's immigration crackdown. And then we'll get to the RFK Jr. What is this? Nearly 400 U.S. aid contract employees laid off in wake of Trump's stop work order. This is such an insane undercount. There's pandemonium among international development groups funded by U.S. aid, and no one is reporting accurately on it. Hundreds of people were laid off today by the U.S. Agency for International. Okay, U.S. aid is obviously, as Eric knows better than anyone else, most likely. Shouts out to Eric. You've seen his very funny GeoGuessr meme videos. Okay, $60 billion was cut out of international development overnight via U.S. aid. Got a call from a good friend in Guatemala last night telling me U.S. aid-funded jobs internationally have been effectively terminated overnight. There are tens of millions of people around the world who are directly sponsored by these folks. U.S. aid does a lot of bad shit, but a lot of good people work for them internationally. Many colleges in Guatemala and internationally are now cut off from funding. So that's what I was going to say as well, which is that Eric knows better than anyone else that U.S. aid is also a part of the CIA and aids and abets the State Department in doing soft power initiatives, some of which are very good and necessary. And then also, a lot of CIA shit that is masquerading as simple civil society organizations that they're funding in an effort to engage in destabilization of foreign adversaries or nations that we have material interest in. Having said that, this is yet another one of those moments where I have to say JD Pondon, okay? He is undermining American soft power. He's undermining American soft power all around the world, which even if I consider that to be like the American soft power in general, like the good initiatives that the U.S. aid engages in to be a good thing in general, like Donald Trump taking that away is so wild to me. Like he's JD Pondon. He is picking apart the American government and just destroying it. Like all of these things that have taken a long ass time to put together, a long ass time to build. JD Pondon has come in and said, nah, it's over. It's over. is done. No more soft power, baby. No more soft power. We're just cooking America. We're cooking. We are cooking the United States of America on the global stage. Okay, let's continue.
President Trump's immigration crackdown. Our senior investigative correspondent, Eric Katursky, is tracking the raids by immigration enforcement agents across the country, including here in New York. Good morning, Aaron.
About 36 people arrested here in New York, and the Trump administration now plans for stepped-up immigration.
Yeah, also the Gaza condom story is a complete lie, and it's crazy how quickly just a complete lie like that understandably elevates to, I mean, a complete lie like that so quickly just becomes the common narrative. And back in the day, it was mostly done. I mean, for Israel, it was always done by like official State Department employees. Never to this degree, like never to this level of silliness, but still. Obviously, Joe Biden very famously did the whole like 50 beheaded babies lie and the Hamas health ministry lie. And the Republicans have never really stopped lying about undocumented immigrants being responsible for a large share of crimes, and doing, you know, thousands of murders or whatever. But let's get to Trump's immigration crackdowns. Hold on.
Enforcement in 3 major cities each week. This morning, federal agents are intensifying the Trump administration's promise of mass deportations of undocumented immigrants. In New York, heavily armed agents moving into an apartment in the Bronx. Their target, 25-year-old Anderson Zambrano Pacheco, a purported Venezuelan gang member wanted in connection with a home invasion and kidnapping in Aurora, Colorado.
There was a loud bang, so I'm assuming they used one of those things where they open the door.
Nearly 36 were arrested in the New York City operation.
My understanding is that they had specific names of people who've committed crimes, serious offenders, and those are exactly the people that we want removed from the state of New York.
In Florida, authorities arresting 12 people in Tallahassee they say were in the U.S. illegally. In Miami, more than 12 Chinese migrants taken into custody. And this Georgia woman says her husband was arrested while in church. Now she wonders whether she and her children will be next. Authorities say they're targeting violent criminals, but acknowledge other immigrants will likely be swept up too.
Our focus is the most violent criminal illegal aliens that are in our investigations and in other investigations in the federal government, law enforcement community.
And if others get swept up in an operation, that's okay? That's acceptable?
I think that is very likely to happen.
The Trump administration is publicizing daily arrest numbers, but not saying how many have committed violent crimes.
How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
Fear is growing in this community of migrant farm workers in California. Some are sheltering at home, too scared to go to work or take their kids to school.
They're scared to go outside. They're asking neighbors and friends who have status to drive them back and forth because they're concerned that they may be targeted.
Thousands of undocumented immigrants with and without criminal records have been arrested so far since Trump has been in office in Georgia. The White House says the goal is to round up nearly 1,900 of them every single day.
To a more serious matter, President Trump's long-promised immigration crackdown, a crackdown now in action. Major Garrett rode along with federal agents and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on a series of raids yesterday here in New York City. It was meant to be a targeted operation, but as the administration has warned, other people did get swept up as well. Major joins us now. Major, good morning.
Good morning. The Trump administration has a goal to apprehend 500 people here in New York over about a week-long period. We joined dozens of federal agents on the first day of this operation.
Target today is Anderson Pacheco.
Dozens of federal agents gathered in New York City before dawn Tuesday with targeted plans to apprehend criminal undocumented immigrants. A convoy of SUVs rolled through the Bronx, eventually settling outside this apartment building.
Let's just let a few guys from gangs go in.
Inside, agents found a suspected gang member from Venezuela wanted on several felony charges, now in custody with 3 associates.
Also there in the residence, 3 children. Their immigration status unknown. And now a check to see if they have a caregiver or if Child Protective Services needs to be brought in.
These guys are dirtbags. They have come in and perpetuated violence in this country.
Recently confirmed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem came along for the raid.
How many of these do you expect you'll witness as secretary?
I hope a lot.
New York is a sanctuary city, so cooperation with local police on immigration enforcement is limited. But Noem said there is some overlap.
Mayor's been fantastic. One of these individuals was so dangerous, and that we needed the backup of the NYPD to be there in case things went south.
This undocumented Dominican man was incidentally swept up in another Bronx operation.
Where are we transporting?
With no known criminal history, it is unlikely that he would have been arrested during the Biden administration.
Do you know why you're being picked up today?
Now he'll likely face deportation. Another change? The Trump administration no longer prohibits arrests near so-called sensitive areas.
So is it your operating assumption that some of these people you describe as the worst of the worst can be and will be found inside churches and hospitals and schools?
I'm saying that those are not going to be safe zones.
Noem said law enforcement should continue to use discretion in apprehending the hundreds of thousands of criminal migrants she says are in the U.S.
It's going to take a long time. I think
Can
that's
you define a long time?
Months, maybe years.
Without congressional action, it may be longer.
I have to stand up more immigration courts. I need more immigration judges. But you got to give me the dollars to stand up those courts and make it happen.
Immigrants taken into custody Tuesday were brought to the ICE field office in Lower Manhattan for processing and paperwork. They let our cameras in, too.
You want cameras at these events, don't you? And some would say you want this spectacle to be filmed.
It's not a spectacle. This is our nation's law enforcement judicial process. The scales of justice are equally applied to everybody. We want transparency on this.
Yesterday, around 90 federal officers arrested 20 suspects in about a 4-hour period. 8 of those suspects had no criminal histories at all. Of those who did, they had charges pending ranging from murder to theft to kidnapping.
Major, did DHS or ICE let you talk to any of these people who were apprehended?
No. They put them into squad cars for deportation and processing. And not every action we went on had a criminal warrant attached to it. In New York City, if a criminal warrant is attached, New York Police Department officials will assist. So the others were simply immigration enforcement maneuvers. New York.
Wow. So no criminal enforcement, no criminal warrant, and no criminal enforcement whatsoever. I just don't understand, like, the Dominican guy that was, like, randomly there that is being deported and numerous other people. I just, hold on. I'm trying to fix the lighting by standing in a specific point, in a specific location without shutting off the background completely because it gets really boring. The background turns into a really boring one when I put the curtains on. Would they deport random legal migrants? They are talking about, okay. They are talking about deporting, or at the very least, taking away the paperwork of legal migrants. Yes. So that will happen in due time. They're literally talking about denaturalization as the final part of this plan, this master plan. So, but yeah, they've already shut off the CBP-1 applications that legal asylum seekers were using. And they had their appointments. So basically, while they claim that they're going after illegal immigrants who have done heinous crimes or whatever, no, they're not doing that. They're actually just simply going after everyone and anyone that could be considered undocumented at any given moment, unless you were born on U.S. soil. And even if you were born on U.S. soil, there could be a point where you could get denaturalized or exiled. Donald Trump, straight up, I hear Trump signed an order to put migrants in camps at Gitmo. He did. He did do that. And also the Secretary of Defense was talking about how they're going to build camps on top of the golf course at Gitmo to house additional migrants, because Gitmo at its peak had like almost 800 people in it. It's not a very large facility, but good thing our current Secretary of Defense, who worked at Guantanamo Bay, is now tasked with building camps. Bro, you got to be playing? No, I'm not. I don't know how many times I explained this. This is probably the shittiest I told you so moment of all time. It's one of those things that I wish I was completely wrong on. Okay? But it seems to be that I'm not wrong on this. And it's something that I've been talking about, not just this past election cycle. It's something that I've talked about for years at this point, that if you consistently dehumanize undocumented immigrants and lie about them, and the Democrats don't actually counter message against that, then inevitably the Republicans will dominate the conversation, and everyone will come to this false notion that undocumented migrants are all rapists, bloodthirsty, murdering drug dealers who serially kill babies and must be violently removed from this country. And in that process, that violent removal is, of course, going to be costly, horrifying, and a lot of people are going to get swept away, not dissimilar to what Nazi Germany did. That's it. And that's where we're at currently. If Kamala won right now, would you be happier than at this moment or at the same level? No, I would be at the same level. I would be at the same level because clearly Donald Trump is always going to be worse than the Democrats, okay? That's just a fact. The Republicans are always going to be worse than the Democrats. But the Democrats are trying to play catch up with the Republicans all the time, okay? Like, you cannot deny the very important role that the Democratic Party played in undercutting their own message initially, that we are a nation of migrants. Like, they just cut that down, they chopped it up, and they basically thought that the best thing that they could do in this process, after 4 years of unlimited fuck migrants propaganda coming from the right, they turned around and said, you know what, you're right, we were wrong, actually, my bad, oopsie. We actually also want to fucking kill migrants. Here is our kill the migrants border bill. Joe Biden unveiled his own build the wall border bill on October 4th, 2023. Okay? Like 3 days before October 7th. I was losing my mind. I was like, what are you guys doing? This is the most insane thing you can do. You are basically, in the simplest terms, admitting that you were lying this entire time. Okay, that you were lying, that yes, you also think undocumented migrants are scary murderers, okay? And that you also want to deal with it through physical apprehension. It is shocking to me. Did they let Kristi Noem shoot dogs on her field trip? Probably.
Police department did not participate in those.
When you say no,
that's the delineation between sanctuary city and cooperation.
When you say no criminal histories at all, you're not including the illegal crossing of the border.
That is correct. Their status is that they're in the country illegally. They do not have proper documentation, but they do not have any criminal charges or suspected charges assigned to them.
Were you able to witness some of the specifics of rules of engagement when they are going up to someone's
So the first operation we went.
You talking to Ro Khanna about crime and immigration? Oh, here.
Love focus testing.
How would you counter message on crime and immigration?
Easy. Look at the data. Crime is at an all-time low. The minor blip that happened in crime mostly focused on homicides, and it was a one-off. It of course immediately went away. Now it's down 40% in places like Philadelphia. So. And even at that time, people were, that's a fact, use facts to address the made-up hysteria from Republicans. These are falsehoods. They're running on complete falsehoods. They're running on emotional anecdotes. And obviously, when you see a lot of homelessness, you think, oh, that's crime. That's a criminal. Like, immediately, that's how people personalize the crime that they're experiencing.
It is pretty crazy that I was just fucking rocking titties out at the DNC. Like, what I am a very weird person for this. I'll admit that. You know, I'll be the first to recognize that this shit is crazy. Like, I had my titties out at the Democratic National Convention talking to some goddamn senators and congresspersons and shit.
When in fact, like, there is no organized retail theft. The notion that local news and national networks were running on organized retail theft while showing National Retailers Association numbers on shrink, when shrink was only going up, adjusted to more foot traffic, more people going out and
what is happening right now? What is going on right now? Why is my YouTube effing?
Shopping was ridiculous. That was something that they could have easily
I put it
addressed, and instead they did not do that. And I would say we during the
You have a buffer, so I don't think it's your internet. I think it's just YouTube being weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's odd. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. AOC posted about this, but they're only going to round up immigrants committing crime. No, ICE is already rounding up innocent American citizens. A 3-year-old and his mother and his grandmother were speaking Spanish while shopping at a department store in Milwaukee. They're U.S. citizens from Puerto Rico, but were taken by ICE. It wasn't until they were in detention that the mother was allowed to produce identification and birth certificates indicating their citizenship. I'm so sorry, she was told. The family had to order and pay for a ride back home. You're trying to argue stats while Trump has been assembling a harem of families of victims of migrant crime for the past 9 years. AOC strat is much better than yours. Wait, no, this is my strat as well. What the fuck are you talking about? Also, secondly, I never said that that is the only thing that the Democrats should be doing. I've also long maintained the position that the Democrats should counter message by showing the humanity of migrants. I've shown you some wonderful examples that even Bernie Sanders' team had utilized. Okay? Showing that these people are just regular ass people that have their own personal stories, that deserve amnesty, that actually contribute to the American economy in very meaningful ways. It's called humanization. If the Republican strategy is dehumanization, the Democrat strategy is supposed to be humanization, humanizing migrants, okay, showcasing their humanity. It's quite literally what I do every fucking day on this broadcast. What do I do all the time, chatters? What do I do about homeless people? What do I do about prisoners? I humanize them. I try to show you who these people are and how they don't have a difference in opinion that is that significant, okay? That they're still, even if they do have differences in opinions, that they are still human beings with goals, okay? And that they're not simply a parasitic hive mind here to destroy American civilization or whatever, okay? It's the reverse of what Tyler Oliveira does. It's the reverse of what Asmongold is contributing to. Where is the lust for deportation so damn high? What Americans' lives make them so horny for it? I just don't get it. I think part of that comes from the same insecurities that a lot of Americans demonstrate when they have this false notion that they're supposed to have this bountiful future where they will have financial security and they will be endlessly successful. And then all of a sudden, when that doesn't match, that expectation is not matched up by their reality, they feel insecure and angry. And any sort of violent expression from the state for those who are even more marginalized than they are, even more vulnerable than they are, is seen as a benefit because it's like, well, at least I got this. At least I'm not that guy. I'm above that guy. You know what I mean? Americans never do this, chat. They never do this. Look, okay? They only do this. They only do this over and over and over again. They never even dare to look up. They only look up and imagine that they will be there one day. Fantasize that they will be there one day. And when they're up there, they'll be really ruthless. Oh, those working poors better watch out when I make it. You know what I mean? Yeah. As was obvious, Democrats compromising on basic things like due process, civil rights would not result in some sort of Republican goodwill or electoral benefit. It's just leading the Democrats looking spineless as they possibly helped Trump throw migrants in Guantanamo. 58 Democrats helped Republicans pass the Laken Riley Act, which will enable Trump's ICE to put migrants accused of shoplifting, not convicted, not charged, accused of shoplifting without due process. Do you understand how fucking psychotic that is? If only there was someone who's warning about this shit for literally years and years and years and years, okay? And that's the reason why they have to utilize Guantanamo Bay. Because if they were to do this in an American prison facility within the American borders right now, they would actually still run into problems. You know what I mean? They would run into some legal hurdles, just like the judge that issued an injunction, just like judges that, still will hear an executive order come down and go, that's unconstitutional. What the fuck are we doing here? And they can't have that. So they have to process them expeditiously through Guantanamo Bay, where there is no need for due process and that you can engage in involuntary detention permanently without due process for a very long time. So even if someone who is brown, let's say, is undocumented, and they are suspected of shoplifting, police come, they arrest him, they find out he's undocumented, ICE comes in, they nab him, they ship his ass to Guantanamo Bay. They put him in a fucking concentration camp in Guantanamo Bay. He is now in permanent involuntary detention with no trial. Do you understand what that is? That means every single time some racist asshole sees a brown person, they can just call the cops and say, this guy actually did something wrong, did something illegal, and ICE will come and nab them and deport them. This is straight up Nazi Germany, okay? This is exactly what they did to fucking Jewish people in Nazi Germany. This is how it works. Tack on an incentive structure into it, and it's like, we're cooking, you know? Oh, you get $1,000 for every immigrant crime that you, maybe not 1,000, but like you get $100 for every immigrant crime that you actually report to the federal law enforcement agencies. Yeah, and it wasn't just Jews, it was enemies of the state, exactly. Think about that. Yeah, they didn't just do it to Jewish folks. They did it to all matter of different people. Socialists in particular. Trade unionists, socialists. Anyway, we should watch documentaries on historical examples. You mean just any Nazi documentary? Any documentary that covers the lead up to World War II will very clearly cover what is going on here. Okay? Straight up any, like you can watch any, even like a shittily made one, okay? It doesn't have to be a particularly good one. You could watch like simplified history style YouTube videos and get a pretty decent understanding of exactly what's going on right now and what is to come, okay? Even the anti-trans shit, Nazis were super anti-trans, okay? The first book burning that the Nazi Party engaged in was books about, was research dedicated to transgender medicine. Literally, down to the fucking anti-trans shit. Like, it is a one-to-one, a direct one-to-one. Reactionary politics doesn't change all that much. Obviously, you have to adopt to the current time frame and the current culture, and maybe change the language a little bit, but the underlying sentiment is still the same. Oftentimes, the targets are the same as well. Some exceptions to that, for sure, but it is the same resentment and interest in enacting violence against enemies, perceived enemies of the state, or marginalized people that you can dominate. Yeah, this is, well, there you go. I was, there you have it. Mississippi lawmakers want bounty hunters to find undocumented immigrants. The proposed Mississippi Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program Fund shows how hardline immigration policies at the federal level have influenced policy proposals of states and localities. There it is. Can we finally vote blue no matter who? Yeah. Voting for the Democrats last time around was simply a stay of execution, okay? It just meant that you would get a 4-year hold on this and inevitably bring about the Trump agenda from 4 years prior. This is something that I tried to explain to people at the time, and it is directly responsible for the Overton window shifting this dramatically to fascism, okay? While electoralism is not going to be the end-all be-all or the real solution to this sort of thing, contrary to what liberals believe, I still maintain the position that electoralism can be a very important tool. It's something that I've never cast aside. It's something that I urge people to engage with seriously, right? Having said that, the Democratic Party is supposed to be competent. If it's incompetent, then it offers the Republicans these massive victories. It gives Republicans complete ground to engage in whatever kind of fascist nonsense, whatever kind of violent nonsense and initiatives that they want to do, that they want to engage in. If you understand that, if you recognize that like Republicans are devastating to the country, to the globe, to the lives of Americans, to the lives of your neighbors, then you have to do everything in your power to fucking fight back. And the Democrats did not do that, okay? Parading Liz Cheney around was not that. It was the opposite of that. This is why I kept fucking criticizing the Democrats during the election cycle. This is why I was losing my fucking mind. I was like, dude, I don't want Trump to win. I don't want Trump to win. It seems like you guys, the Democrats, want him to win, or at least don't care enough to do what is necessary to stop him from winning. And here we are. Oh, this light is terrible. Here we are. Wonderful stuff.
With this Venezuelan gang member, there was a tremendous show of force. Heavy tactical gear, ramming through the door, going inside, apprehending people. Large show of force to make sure that not only they were tactically safe, but they could execute this particular maneuver. And let's be honest, capturing this photography sends a message. And the administration wants that visual message sent. There is a new administration in charge. These raids are real. They will be more numerous, and the tempo and scope is different than the previous administration.
There's so much more to talk about here, but we'll keep covering it for sure.
Great
we will.
reporting.
Major, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Soaring egg prices may have you wondering whether you can afford the breakfast staple. Well, according to the CBS News price tracker, a dozen eggs on average costs $4.15 today, compared to $2.51 just a year ago. That's a 65% increase for those of us counting. And our Nancy Chen explains what's behind the spike and what it means for your menu options.
Between the classic breakfast platters, omelets.
No way. How did that happen? Oh my God. But there you go. Trump did it again. My goat.
And egg sandwiches. There are plenty of shells being cracked at Montague Diner in Brooklyn.
These are the 3 cases we got in today.
How long will it take you to go through all this?
Probably like 2-3 days.
Those cases are getting more expensive for owner Kip Green as egg prices increase nationwide.
It is hard to think of a diner and not think of eggs. Yeah. How central are eggs to your menu?
It probably makes up like 40 to 50% of our menu.
So what does something like this do to your bottom line?
It's challenging. Like, we are a diner. You have to have an egg plate. We don't ever want to make people pay more for something like that. So you figure out how to cut costs elsewhere.
Restaurants are already managing higher operating costs and fewer people dining out. One survey found in 2024, nearly half of consumers say they cook at home more. And it may be a while before there's relief. According to the USDA, egg prices are predicted to increase 20% this year alone, as renewed bird flu outbreaks affect farms nationwide. More than 145 million birds have been killed since the start of the outbreak. Roughly 8% of the country's total flock wiped out since November alone, driving egg shortages and price surges across the country.
There have been outbreaks of bird flu before. Why does this one stand out?
I think it stands out because it's lasted so long. We continue to have outbreaks that continues to cut into our supplies, and our ability to make up for those lost chickens is just not there.
Yet Texas A&M livestock economist David Anderson says Americans continue to depend on eggs as an affordable source of protein.
Eggs are a staple. The demand is such that, we still want to go buy eggs. And so that creates a situation of skyrocketing prices.
A challenge for consumers at the grocery store that Green keeps in mind for her customers as well.
I'm not only considering, the price that they're paying when they're eating here, but I'm also considering the fact that at home they're paying considerably more for eggs.
As for what happens long term, Anderson says this outbreak could become endemic or always present, which means that egg price uncertainty, it could be here to stay. Now, given that, there are substitutes to consider, especially in baking, like applesauce, mashed bananas, or even tofu in some recipes. You got to get creative, Tony. It's expensive out there.
It's not going to cut it. There's still, don't order out. If you scramble 2 eggs and put some potatoes next to it, it's a full meal. It's still relatively cheap compared to what's out there.
That's right. All right, excellent reporting.
So we have no shortage of challenges to confront, and I even agree with some of the diagnosis of Mr. Kennedy. What is so disturbing to me is that out of 330 million Americans, we're being asked to put somebody in this job who has spent 50 years of his life not honoring the tradition that he talked about at the beginning of this conversation, but peddling in half-truths, peddling in false statements, peddling in theories that, create doubt about whether or not things that we know are safe are unsafe. Not that every vaccine in America is unsafe, not that you can't possibly have an adverse reaction, but that parents and children in my old school district and school districts all over this country would be better off not getting vaccinated than getting vaccinated. Unlike his own children who were vaccinated, unlike the people he invited to his house in Los Angeles for their party who were vaccinated. For everybody else, it's about peddling these half-truths. And he says it with such conviction that you want to believe him. And Mr. Kennedy, I just have there are many, many things in the record, but I hope that you could answer these questions yes or no. I've tried.
Let me see if this works better. Did this do anything? No. I feel like this didn't do shit. I'm trying to see if the lighting is a little bit better this way, but it doesn't feel like it. Yo, you peeps over the pond need to put a stop to this. No amount of sitting around and whining. I know, but maybe this way. The Republicans tied America to the tracks. Close curtains if possible. No, I'm not going to close curtains. I don't want to. It's shitty. Canadian tuxedo goes crazy. It's not a Canadian tuxedo. All right. Yeah, we're now talking about RFK Jr. with his ridiculous Senate confirmation hearing. Just when you thought you've seen it all, Trump is playing tennis with Serena Williams barefoot in full suit. What? What the what?
Trump volleyed with Serena Williams, and Donald Trump is always where the cameras are when it involves making money. And today at Lowe's Island in Sterling, Virginia, he opened the Tennis Performance Center. Trump.
When is this from? This is it. Got to be an old video, but like where and when? Got to be AI? Nah, it's probably super old.
Trump volleyed with Serena Williams, shoes off, coat on. Donald Trump showing he's got some game, some little. It's.
Can I call you Hassan in my college essay, Mr. Piker? What? Yeah, okay. Yes. You have my permission. I don't understand. No, call him Papa. No, you can call me Hassan. It's interesting. I didn't know that was a real thing. Yeah, it's from 2015. See, Donald Trump opens new tennis center in Sterling. Damn, this is a rare Trump, by the way. This is actually a rare Trump, which is shocking because as the Trump historian, I rarely ever see a rare Trump that I haven't seen before, and we did it. We finally arrived at a rare Trump that I had not seen yet.
Right there at the Trump National Club. Both are tremendous facilities. It was good to see him out there, and the fans seem to enjoy it.
What? Wait, he knows how to... What?
On Donald.
With socks on?
Yeah, he opened the Tennis Performance Center. Trump volleyed with Serena Williams, shoes off, coat on. Donald Trump.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I just realized something. One of my favorite Trump photos of all time is the one where his bussy is looking super fat. He's playing tennis in that with the little booty shorts. Dude, I just realized I never noticed he was playing tennis in that because his ass is so fat that it's like that meme is like, I can't tell you the color of anything in this photo. You know what I'm talking about? He does play tennis. That's so wild. Like, oh, ain't nobody looking at that cat meme. Oh my God. I am that guy. I'm the guy who did the ain't nobody looking at the cat. But for this photo, this very moment, after like almost the past decade of using this photo as my favorite rare Trump, I just now noticed that he's playing tennis in it. It's been a decade. I have used this photo, Chad, I've used this photo for a decade, and this is the first time I realize he's playing tennis in it. That is crazy. Don't ask me the color of anything, dude. Straight up. Wow. Wow. Okay, we're done with the tennis moment, okay?
I'd ask these in a manner that's faithful to what you actually said, because I didn't want to have a debate about whether you actually said them. So I'm asking you yes or no, Mr. Kennedy. Did you say that COVID-19 was a genetically engineered bioweapon that targets black and white people, but spared Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people?
I didn't say it was deliberately targeted. I just quoted an NIH-funded.
Yeah. He just said it was a Chinese bioweapon built with the Chinese alongside the Ashkenazi Jews to target black and white people. He did say that, like he very openly said that, but I guess he didn't mean it, except he did mean it. So not exactly certain on what this defense is here. Oh, I just saw the NIH funded study that told me that was the case.
An NIH published study.
Did you say that it targets black and white people but spared Ashkenazi Jews?
I quoted a study, Your Honor. I quoted an NIH study that showed that.
I'll take that as a yes.
Races
I have to move on, I have to move on. Did you say that Lyme disease is highly likely a materially engineered bioweapon? I made sure I put in the highly likely. Did you say Lyme disease is a highly likely militarily engineered bioweapon?
I probably did say that.
Did you say that?
And that's what the developer of Lyme
I want all
disease
of our colleagues to hear it, Mr. Kennedy. I want them to hear it. You said yes. Did you say that exposure to pesticides causes children to become transgender?
No, I never said that.
Okay, I have the record that I'll give to the chairman, and he can make his judgment about what you said. Did you write in your book, and it's undeniable, that African AIDS is an entirely different disease from Western AIDS? Yes or no, Mr. Kennedy?
I'm not sure if I made that.
Okay, I'll give it to the chairman, Mr. Kennedy. And my final question, did you say on a podcast, and I quote, "I wouldn't leave abortion, to the states. My belief is we should leave it to the woman. We shouldn't have the government involved, even if it's full term." Did you say that, Mr. Kennedy?
Senator, I believe that every abortion is a tragedy.
Did you say it, Mr. Kennedy? This
believe-
matters. It doesn't matter what you come here and say that isn't true, that's not reflective of what you really believe, that you haven't said over decade after decade after decade, because unlike other jobs we're confirming around this place, this is a job where it is life and death for the kids that I used to work for in the Denver public schools, and for families all over this country that are suffering from living in the richest country of the world that can't deliver basic health care and basic mental health care to them. It's too important for the games that you're playing, Mr. Kennedy. And I hope my colleagues will say to the president, I have no influence over him. I hope my colleagues will say to the president, out of 330 million Americans, we can do better than this.
Senator Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kennedy, thanks for being with us. I very much like the slogan that you coined, Make America Healthy Again. And I strongly agree with that effort. Despite spending, as you indicated, 2 or 3 times as much per capita on healthcare as other nations, we have 85 million people who are uninsured, underinsured. We have all kinds of chronic illnesses. Our life expectancy is lower than other countries. And for working class people in this country, they are living 6, 7 years shorter lives than the top 1%. We got a problem, okay? And I'm going to suggest some ideas that I think can remedy that. Last year, the insurance industry in this country made over $70 billion.
That's my friend. Chat. That's my buddy. Friend of the show, Bernie Sanders. Friend of the show, Bernard Sanders. Did you hear the last guy? Yes. I'm a Bennett head. Okay? Is that the Tenga condom on your head? Yeah, it is. Good one. Chatters. Your beanie looks sick. It's a Family Mart beanie. B-ball homies in Vermont soon, please. Yes. Why do you wear the beanie like that? It doesn't cover your ears. You still balling in Japan at all? We'll see. I'm gonna try to, but we haven't had any time. Virtually every moment that I've been in Japan has been slammed with guys. I was on camera for 17 hours yesterday. 17. Bro can't even take a shit. Yeah. Like, we have been pumping far too much content for you guys to keep up with. Like, we have literally been flooding it. I start at 5 a.m. Tokyo time, and I went until 11 p.m. Tokyo time last night. Yeah. Many people are saying that it's causing societal collapse. Doc, how does it look? Lol, hold on, fam. Hassan is at the Tango store. Gotta see what that's about. Are you deported already? Yeah, dude, I got deported to Japan. Less content, please. I am newer divergent. Is overwhelming me. Yeah, no. Sorry. My dog watches Hasanabi. My surgery is bricked. Well, I haven't been able to see most of the Tokyo streams. What the fuck are y'all doing to each other?
My financial advisor told me about your need.
Yeah, it's true. He did. That's how the Shibuya boys do it. You know? That's how the Shibuya boys do it. All right, let's keep going.
While at the same time, 85 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. Do you agree with me that the United States should join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Yes? No?
Senator, I can't give you a yes or no answer to that question.
Wow, that's crazy. You fraudulent charlatan. We already knew he was a bitch, but goddamn, dude. I thought you were supposed to be independent, dude. I thought you were not supposed to be beholden to the same corporate interests, and you want to tackle corporations. What happened? What happened to the RFK Jr. chatters? You can't even lie? God forbid you lie at the behest of the people for once. Nope. This is why I always tell you, conspiracy guys are creating very enticing distractions away from the real vectors of pressure and the real vectors of pain. Okay? Good take. Had friends who were lethal against conspiracies yet did not care about their actual rights. Hassan, you are a rat trying to destroy our world. You are so blind. Absolute piece of shit, Hassan Rat. Keep your filth in your book. What? Oh, I think he's being Islamophobic. I was trying to understand like what kind of angle of attack that was coming in here, but I think he's just like, when he said keep your filth in your book, I think he means like the Quran. Sober Paladin, not so sure if he's still sober. Don't know if contrary to what the username indicates, I don't think he's sober at this moment. 2013 person, this chatter's in their 30s. Yeah, their name is Sober Paladin. This is an Asmongold viewer who's played WoW his entire life. My brother's in Tokyo right now, and I said for him to keep a lookout for a tall man. If he sees him with a gay man and a fashionable shorter man, say hello. Oh no, did he get banned? What happened? I love the way you try to upset Asmon, but you can't. Wake you. I'm not trying to upset Asmongold at all. Unbanned now. I'm going to be very real with you, chatter. In spite of all the things that you're going through, and in spite of our disagreements, I still wish you the best. And I will still continue to advocate for your rights. I will still continue to advocate for you to get health care. I want what's best for you at the end of the day, even if you don't want it, even if you don't see it. What? He's probably mad that streamer's dad called him talking about you. Oh, Asmon dad called Asmongold to talk about me. Asmon dad is a fan, and he's a watcher. He's a head. He's a Hasanabi head. I hope he doesn't hate me now because I've been very critical of Asmongold. Asmon dad does not agree with Asmongold on a lot of political issues. Yeah. In Asmon's chat, you are an abomination. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. No, it's not a bit. That's real. That's a real thing.
Is healthcare a human right?
In the way that free speech is a human right,
yeah.
I would say it's different because with free speech doesn't cost anybody anything, but in healthcare, if you smoke cigarettes for 20 years and you get cancer, you are now...
Dude, this is so funny. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love this. Okay. This is so awesome. Guy who is supposed to be working outside of the confines, who's supposed to undermine for-profit healthcare and like the guy who's made a name for himself by preaching about how for-profit healthcare and the food industry is like poisoning us, turns around and says, oh, the solution instead of socialized medicine is actually engaging in self-restraint. That is literally just a Republican position, you fucking jackass. Oh, yeah, dude. If you have leukemia as a child, well, you should have thought about perhaps not having it. Thanks, man. Thanks, dude. That's sick. That's sick. That's sick. I can't wait for Republicans to fucking cry about like people making fun of RFK's voice, by the way. That's definitely coming. Republicans will cry foul and claim ableism and complain endlessly as though we don't know the way they operate. You know what I mean?
Taking from the pool. Well, and so are you guaranteed the same right, or is there also a duty?
I'm sorry. I'd love to talk for an hour with you. We got a few minutes left here. All right. Every other country in us says healthcare, whether you're poor or rich, young or old, is a human right. I'm not hearing you say that. All right. You've talked about the drug companies, and maybe we agree on this one. As you all know, despite the drug companies making over $100 billion in profits, paying CEOs outrageous compensation packages, we in some cases pay 10 times more for the same drug. Will you support legislation that I will introduce which says that in America we should not be paying a nickel more for prescription drugs than people around the rest of the world? Yes, no?
To equalize it?
Not to equalize it, that we should not be paying more than other countries for the same damn drug.
Like we moved on from Medicare for all to just like, can we get some normalcy in the pay structure? You claim that you want to undermine the pharmaceutical industry. You claim that you want to undermine the pharmaceutical industry. You understandably have presented a genuine problem within the incentive structure of the pharmaceutical industry time and time again. Would you be on board with lowering the profits of the pharmaceutical industry at the behest of the citizens and advocate for more reasonable prices? This isn't socialized medicine at this point. We've moved past that. We moved past that to like, can we get anything here? And my man still cannot do it. He still can't. Yo, Palestinian activists in Japan want to invite you to their organizing space. If you're down, I can facilitate it for you through Frogan. That would be sick. Yeah. Let's try to figure that out. Man, this guy is still crying, by the way. It's awesome. It's awesome. Let him cry. Talk to me or you're scared, chicken. You're an embarrassment. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Look, a lot of these people just want a helping hand, dude. They just want someone to notice them. They want someone to acknowledge their existence. And when you don't do it, they lose their minds. Talk to me is what he ended up spamming in the fucking chat. Like, that's a sad state of affairs, okay? Understand that for many people, that is what they want. It's sad. Most people that you see online are going through some shit like that. So while they might come across like they're, without a second glance, initially you might think like, oh, well, is this reasonable criticism, or is this like a disagreement of politics or whatever? Many disagreements online, especially in this space, stem from the personal things that individuals are going through. Like, that person is just going through it all, and what they need is someone to communicate with them, someone to recognize their existence, right? Beanie like Tim Pool. Yeah. You're terrified of learning. Talk with me, coward. I'll debate your crap. It's reasonable. You're terrified of learning and debating it. There's no feelings. You literally are a cancer. Like, what do you want to debate? That I'm cancer? It's, the ridiculous premise. Debate me on why you're cancer. Okay, sure, dude. I'm sorry, chatter. Look, if it was a different time, if I wasn't currently in Japan, okay, Nihon desu. If I was not there right now, if I wasn't here right now, and I had a limited amount of time to cover as many news stories as I can before we move on to the IRL portion, where I will go and work at a maid cafe without even speaking a lick of Japanese, then I would perhaps entertain it because it seems very funny. But unfortunately, today is not the day. Today is not your day.
President Trump has asked me, in fact, I had a meeting with President Trump a week ago where we showed him the charts.
He knows the charts.
We're paying 10 times more from Europe.
That's right.
Afterwards, we're going to go and pet capybaras.
And are you going to commit to us that you will end that absurdity?
I think in principle we can. We should end that disparity.
Good. Okay. That's great. All right. I happen to believe that climate change is real, it's an existential threat, and it is a healthcare issue. Donald Trump thinks that it is a hoax originating in China. Question is, in your judgment, is climate change a hoax, or is it real, causing devastating problems?
President Trump and I, from the beginning, from our first meeting, agreed to disagree.
The part that I don't understand about like climate change or COVID, like the claims that it's a hoax, is that it's still killing people. You know what I mean? You can just deny it. You can just close your eyes and plug your ears and go, no, I can't hear you. But like, no, it's not. Islam is killing people. Okay, man. I guess Sober Paladin is the type of dude who is the target audience for this kind of stuff, where they are so invested in like the wrong narrative no matter what. Something could hit them in the fucking face and they'd be like, you know who would hit me in the face actually? Islam.
On that issue, I believe climate change is existential. My job is to make Americans healthy again.
All right, you believe that you disagree with Trump. You don't think climate change is a hoax. is what I'm hearing.
My job here is to
I'm
make
just asking you that,
Americans
Mr. Kennedy, not a trick question.
I answered your question, Senator Sanders.
Okay, you disagree with the president on that.
I answered your question.
Okay, I'm going to pick up on a point that Senator Hassan made. Look, there is no question that abortion is a divisive issue in this country. I would say a majority of the people are pro-choice. There's a strong minority who are pro-life. A year and a half ago, you went to New Hampshire, running for president, gave a speech, and you talked about government should not tell a woman what she can do with her own body. That's her choice. Now, I think everybody on that side is pro-life. I think everybody here is pro-choice. I have never seen any major politician flip on that issue quite as quickly as you did when Trump asked you to become HHS secretary. Tell me why you think people should have confidence in your consistency and in your word when you really made a major U-turn on an issue of that importance in such a short time.
Senator, I believe, and I've always believed, that every abortion is a tragedy.
But you told the people in New Hampshire that it was their right. All right, let me do a last question because I'm running out of time. I think the gist of what you're trying to say today is you're really pro-vaccine, you want to ask questions. You have started a group called the Children's Health Defense. You're the originator. Right now,
I saw this. This one is incredible. Look at that. Look at the RFK merch. These people, the transgenders, are grooming your children, but also I want to groom them into not using vaccines.
And that on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way. Next one is No Vax, No Problem. Now, you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can.
No. That was the old me, Senator. Why is he more upset about the baby onesies, the anti-vaxxer baby onesies, than like, I don't know, when Bennett was cooking him about how like African AIDS is a different kind of AIDS than the AIDS you see in the Western world. Like, these people have grilled him on a bunch of things that are totally valid to grill him on. Okay. And he just kind of sat there and took it. This is the first time he's like genuinely launched a defense. He's like, no, that was not me. The onesie is a bridge too far, Senator. I would never. Some lines you don't cross.
Damn, this guy's good.